Awesome. Greetings, everyone. If you can hear me, see me well, wave, tell us where you're watching from, what city you're in, whether in Kenya or outside of Kenya. Um, we'd really appreciate that. Make sure I am not too handsome uh, on the screen. All right. We're live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, not Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and TikTok. 5 platforms. That's awesome. So I hope you can all hear me okay, see me fine. If you can't say something so that we can fix it before we get started. But thank you one and all for making time as always. In case I'm a new face to you, my name is Solomon Wangwe, founder, managing director of Goshen Acquisitions Limited, as well as its wholly owned subsidiary, Grand Acres, the most transparent, the best land sellers in Kenya, hands down. Anyone tells you different, they're either ignorant or lying. So I'm excited about today. We're closing February already. It's February 22nd, 2022. Weekly live session, Q&A session, where you get to ask us questions about anything related to land investments here in Kenya. We've been doing this for 13 years almost now, so we know a thing or two about how to do it safely and properly. So the idea is simply for us to share our experiences with you. Hopefully you learn something new, or we're able to give you a perspective about an issue you might be dealing with yourself, you or your loved one. And so for that reason, if you haven't done so yet, if you know someone who's into land investments, who is looking to buy land for the first time, or is a veteran who is always looking out for the next opportunity, you like them, love them, respect them, share the link to this live session. Please don't be selfish. Invite as many good vibed people as you can. If you don't like them, leave them out. We don't want negative energy, good vibes only. So please take the next 30 seconds or so to share the link. Like. It helps drive the algos, the algorithms. What does Coco call it? Algorithms, yes. Um, to reach more awesome people like yourselves, because you are indeed the reason we do this, as opposed to being home having dinner, watching TV, and preparing for tomorrow. And in case you're wondering, it's 8:04 p.m. in Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa. For those of you who are watching us from somewhere else. And so, if you could, please be so kind as to let us know what city you're tuning in from. Okay. Um, it just helps. It's encouraging. It's cool to know where you're all uh, joining us from. So, without further ado, we'll get started. Send in your questions fast and furious. Let's cover as many of them as we can over the next 55 minutes because we will end at exactly 9 p.m. Kenya, East Africa time because we respect your time. Uh, you've heard me say it before, time is money and money buys land. So we don't like to play games with time. So let's get started, guys. Over to you. Send in your questions. If you don't have a question, or maybe you have a comment or an observation you've made about ourselves or any other land seller out there or the industry in general, government policy, whatever the case may be, feel free to share as well. We're all here to encourage one another, sharpen one another, and get wealthy together. Okay, so I'm all yours. Okay, Azima Properties Limited on IG. says, what's the process for buying land that is still under succession? That's a great question, and thank you for asking. My general rule of thumb is if it's still undergoing succession, there is no process for buying land. Stay away, avoid at all costs. Why? Because you don't know who you're supposed to be dealing with yet, unless the court has appointed an administrator who has legal authority to make decisions about what happens with that property. Um, it's a massive gamble and not worth the risk. Okay? It doesn't matter if it's your friend, relative, pastor. If you're going to do something for someone who's undergoing succession, do it as a donation. Okay? Don't do it for investment purposes. Make it a charitable activity because it is way too risky, not worth it. So please, um, if it's still under succession, wait until succession is completed, and then you can get started with the buying process. And if you don't know yet, we put together a beautiful list, our 9 steps to safe land buying in Kenya. It's a checklist that you can download for absolutely free from our website, www.grandacres.co.ke. Find the tab that says checklist, enter your name and email address, and it'll spit out the PDF document to your email address absolutely free. Okay? Uh, and that's for those few of you who haven't heard about our amazing checklist yet. So that's the best advice I can give you, and all success to you. Someone's asking which country is this? We are in Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, East Africa, and they're asking like a million times. I saw Ahadi Group. Tune in. Hey, Ahadi Group. Nice to see you guys as always. I'm waiting for Washu. Washu is late today. Uh, or maybe I just missed her. Okay, question from IM_Winnie Joy K. This is Instagram, right? So Winnie Joy K says, do you have affordable land prices in Baringo County, preferably Kampiyamoto to Mogotio? Could you also make your payment more flexible? Example, at least 6 to 12 months repayment period. Thank you for that question, Winnie Joy K. We do not yet have any inventory in Baringo County. And to be honest, we haven't really scouted that area yet. But because you ask, we'll make a point to look out for any opportunities there. Secondly, we are open to making flexible payment terms. We do not fix those in advance. We make a case-by-case assessment based on your proposal on how to make those payments. And as long as it's workable from a commercial point of view for us, we have no reason to refuse. Okay? It's just a question of having a conversation one-on-one. So give us a call, speak to our sales staff, send us a message, DM us, let us know which one of our properties you are interested in, and we're happy to have a conversation. Okay? Thank you so much for asking that. LC_Tashi on Instagram says, just gotten the checklist. So excited. Awesome, LC_Tashi. All success to you. And you can also share it with your friends, family, loved ones, people you like, love, and respect. It'll help them. Producer_Kevin on TikTok says, I want to work with you and create visibility for your products and services. Thank you, Producer_Kevin on TikTok. I might ask, in what way would you like to create visibility for our products? Probably a conversation you want to take offline. So DM us, let us know how you can be reached, make an appointment, come have a conversation, and let's see if it makes sense. Thank you for your comment. Oh, Gladys behind the camera says you guys don't have questions today. I see a comment. Producer underscore Kevin just said yes, sure. I'll DM ASAP. Awesome, producer Kevin. You better bring some very strong kung fu, producer Kevin. Just FYI. No weak sauce. Okay, as I wait for more questions, I'm gonna take a sip of my nice hot coffee so that I can show off our mugs. Grand Acres by Goshen Acquisitions. It says on the other side, I own land in Kenya. Do you own land in Kenya? If you don't, get busy owning land here in Kenya before it's all gone, because we're busy buying, and so are millions of others. So let's get you owning land in Kenya. If you already own land in Kenya, you have this cool, amazing cup. We came up with that tagline, by the way. All sorts of other people are using it now, but we originated it. Own land in Kenya. It's actually the name of our YouTube channel, which we started in 2016, where we share all manner of useful tips from my experiences about how to go about owning land safely in Kenya. Okay? I'm not even sure how many videos are up now. Over 300, probably. 700 videos. Yikes. That's how far behind I am at counting. We've been doing this for 8 years now, believe it or not. So check out our YouTube channel, Own Land in Kenya, or you can just search for Goshen Acquisitions or Solomon Wangwe. But that's where that came from. We own the tagline. So if it's not a reality for you yet, please do allow us the privilege to make it happen for you. Check out our website. Okay, new question. Mengich underscore Dennis on Instagram says, how long does the process of land transfer take on average? And can we have more than one name on a title deed? Well, Mengich underscore Dennis, first of all, thank you for tuning in on Instagram and for sending that question. How long the process of land transfer takes depends very much on the registry that you're dealing with. There is no average, sadly. Some are faster than others. In the worst of cases, we've waited a year, a full 12 months for a transfer to get processed at a registry. This was way back when Kajiado County Registrar's Office was a nightmare to deal with. It's improved drastically. So big up to the Ministry of Lands for fixing that issue in Kajiado town registry. In the shortest, I think believe it or not, we've done a transfer in 24 hours. Quite recently, actually. In the beginning of this year, we had a transfer literally done in was it beginning of this year or late last year? Probably in December. 24 hours, believe it or not. So that's how wide the range is. Depends on the registry. This was a different registry. And we had the best of lawyers on that job. We actually used the #1 rated law firm in Africa, the whole continent. They happen to be Kenyan, founded in Kenya some 60 something years ago, and now headquartered in Nairobi, Westlands, Nairobi. They did an amazing, my head was spinning how quickly they processed that thing. So case in point is, it depends on the registry. It depends on the advocate that you're using, the clerk who's following up, whatever professional you're using. It depends on what's happening with the Ministry of Lands at that particular time, because from time to time, they do shut down registries for the digitization process. to be undertaken. They do that by zones, so that could impact on how long it takes to transfer. And that's just a reality, Mengich. Dennis, and can you have more than one name on a title deed? Yes. I do believe they like to limit the number of names on a title to, I think, 10. We've had resistance registering more than 10. But yes, you can have more than one. All success to you. Douglas Karoki on Facebook says, how can one transact by municipal plots with allotment letters since many town plots got no leases? Well, Douglas, I'll be very honest. We have never engaged in that process. I know what it's supposed to be theoretically, but my knowledge is based on very old information. Okay, so best advice I can give you for now is consult an advocate, a licensed advocate of the High Court of Kenya who specializes on conveyancing. We will also do the same. Probably tomorrow, I'll give our lawyers a ring. Incidentally, I'm actually about to undertake this process myself. I inherited a property in Webuye town that needs to have a title process. So maybe we can have this conversation again in a few months once my own transaction is done. Then I can give you experiential feedback. In the meantime, we'll ask our advocates and maybe get back to you. But we invite you to ask one yourself as well. We can compare notes and see how that goes. Hulda 14 on TikTok. What's up, Hulda? Says, do I need to have a large amount of money to purchase land? It depends. It depends, Hulda. What do you consider large? I mean, the word large is relative to something. Okay? Reality is large for you may be very small for me, and vice versa. So can we deal with specific amounts? That'll help before we even try or attempt to answer that question. Shoke Gishuki on TikTok, watching us on TikTok. What's up, Shoke? Thank you for tuning in. Shoke says, I need an affordable land in Nakuru County. Solo, Pediwa Mashake, please. Clearly, someone watched Abel Mutua's video on our Grand Acres checklist. Yes, we hear you loud and clear, Shoke. I suppose that means that you don't consider any of our available properties within Nakuru County to be affordable, namely Olkekun. I'll be honest, Olkekun is the most expensive product we have ever developed as a company. These are 50 by 100 mixed use development plots right on the highway in Naivasha, touching the highway directly across from the Safari Center development where there's a Naivas art cafe market. And we have about 99 meters of road frontage right there. These are currently going at prices starting from 8.99 million only. So I admit, Shoke, I mean, that's the most expensive we've ever sold land, both in terms of amount and relative to size. But they're selling. So if you don't think that's affordable, we have a cheaper product, a stunning property right on the shores of Lake Elementaita, what we call Rustling Dawn. Again, also 99 meters of water frontage. When I say waterfront, it's literal waterfront. We don't tell lies or misinform or exaggerate any details about our properties. What you see is actual site images, videos, photographs Our descriptions are accurate. Our maps that you will find on brochures are to scale, exact to scale drawings that you will find from the government documents as well. And these ones are quarter-acre residential lots, amazingly arranged on that waterfront property, a rare UNESCO World Heritage Site, um, going for only 4.99 million at the moment. We do expect to increase our prices as soon as it makes sense before they're sold out. So grab yours today, Shoke. These are not, about, I won't even say half the price because they're twice the size of the first one I just mentioned. These are quarters, not eighths. So it's double the size for half the price of the eighth on a waterfront. If that's not value, I don't know what else is. And these will be fully serviced. We'll have water, power, waste treatment, the whole nine. We don't sell bushes in the middle of nowhere, clearly, as you can see. So, Shoke, if those don't are not a match for you at the moment, we hear you. We keep scouting, and I'm sure you will know once we have something a bit more affordable relative to those prices. But thank you for watching and for tuning in. Tina Awiti Christine says, hello, is there a situation where a piece of land is listed on the RIM or the RIM, which stands for the Registry Index Map? However, when trying to convert to the new block numbers at survey, they say that the map is wrong, that the land is encroaching on another institution. P.S. Other neighbors have even built houses. Tina Awiti Christine, that sounds like a distressing situation, and I'm sorry you're having to deal with that. The truth is, errors do occur from time to time because registry index maps are still prepared by hand drafters in the survey offices. And so it's not unusual for human error to occur. If it is indeed true that the map is wrong, have them provide you the correct one. Engage a licensed surveyor to confirm the positioning of your property as relates to the registry index map, and probably also the mutation form if it was subdivided from a larger block of land historically. Even better if it's a lease property with fixed survey, meaning the beacon points are fixed GPS coordinates. I think it'll be very clear which one of you is in the wrong. Okay, if it's a general boundary survey property, have a surveyor get on the ground, confirm its position, and also confirm that the registry index map is indeed accurate or wrong. Also helps to have a lawyer in your back pocket, ready to fight for you if necessary. But yes, errors do occur from time to time. Just have the licensed professionals confirm the actual situation. I wish you all the best, Tina. Thank you for your question. Stanaman2 on TikTok. What's up, Stanaman? Thank you for tuning in. Stanaman2 says, discuss on legal issue of succession between siblings when a father dies interstate and had 2 wives. Wow, Stanaman, that's that. A lot of details missing in your description there, first of all. Second of all, we are not advocates, certainly not succession specialists. So maybe you want to provide me more context on this as it relates property. But it sounds like you need to consult a succession specialist, advocate who deals with succession law to advise you appropriately. Okay, Stanaman. And I wish you all success, you and your siblings, as you try and put things in order. Doreen Nirenda Ndlovu on Facebook says, I have been following you and I'm learning a lot and inspired by your videos. Keep up the work. Watching from Lusaka, Zambia. Thank you so much, Doreen, for that kind compliment. And thank you for watching all the way from Lusaka, Zambia. I look forward to visiting Lusaka soon. I hear good things about the land out there. God forbid Kenyans invade and start doing 50 by 100 nonsense. But thank you. Thank you for that kind compliment. Grand Acres. Okay. Why is it saying Grand Acres? Mel on TikTok. Why does he do that, by the way? I've been meaning to ask.
Because now the questions that come from TikTok, Instagram,
Yeah. Oh, okay. Got you. Got you. Okay. So this is Mel on TikTok saying, are these lands legit? Kenya gave me PTSD. Laugh out loud. Our lands are, Mel, 100% confirmable. Give us a call. Let's have a conversation. I do understand. We actually conducted a survey a while back, which revealed to us that 60% of our customers, on average, have been conned at least once before we ever made contact with them. And we have a running joke in the office. It's a sad one, but if you don't laugh, you get depressed. But it's almost as if it's a rite of passage in Kenya to get conned before you get it right, which should not be the case. A lot of it is avoidable. In most cases, people just did not follow the established due process, which is why we're very passionate about sharing information transparently through our channels. It's why we're having this live Q&A session as well, just to dispel any mysteries surrounding land investment. So hopefully fewer and fewer people have that PTSD inducing experience. And I'm sorry that you suffered, Mel. There's plenty of great opportunities. Don't let past disasters sour you and keep you from building wealth for yourself and your family, because land investment isn't going away. People are building real wealth on a daily basis, and we would be honored to be part of that journey for you. So get back on that horse, try again, and this time we will be happy to hold your hand. Thank you for making that comment, Mel. Lyrical underscore on Instagram says, I am just starting life and looking for an affordable place to settle. What advice would you have on lands and houses? Budget is 10 million. Lyrical, you are blessed. 10 million budget, just starting life. I'd say you're way ahead of a lot of people. And so you have an amazing opportunity to bust the right move early. What advice would I have? Number one, define your goal, be clear about what it is you're looking for, because that determines the rest of your journey. And you'll find that as step number one on our Grand Acres checklist, 9 steps to safe land buying in Kenya. If you don't have that yet, please download it for free. As I said before, it's on our website, www.grandacres.co.ke. Um, and you'll find a lot of counsel and helpful advice on that checklist. Um, Anything else will be very subjective, depends on your lifestyle, ambitions, aspirations, your financial goals, ability. 10 million shillings is a great budget to secure land in the right place. But in the places where you can buy land for 10 million shillings, will you be comfortable living there? These are some of the questions you need to be able to answer, having a very honest conversation with yourself and hopefully the right partner to guide you along. So um, if you want to have a more in-depth chat about that, DM, we'll schedule a call and we can get right into it and see if we can't give you better clarity as far as how to go about it. Thank you for your comment and for tuning in. Mm. Part two of lyrical underscore question. In your view, which is the best and most affordable way to one day own your own home? Is it buying land and building a home, or just buying a fully built house? Um, Most affordable way, okay, knowing what your budget is, lyrical, I would say the most affordable way is to buy the land and build. You can't beat the economics behind that. It comes with its own set of headaches or challenges to deal with. Number one, you'll have to invest some time understanding the construction process, managing the site during construction, and that sort of thing. But it's certainly more affordable to build a home yourself. Secure the land now, even if you can't build the home yet, buy the land now, lock it in, because value of land continues to go up, especially if you're going to be looking at one of these fast growing satellite uh, regions, peri-urban zones around Nairobi. You want to secure the land as quickly as possible. So do your homework, be diligent about it, download the checklist, secure the space now, and then build at your own pace later. Thank you. Chef Vevelo, mimi sio Ted Josiah. I am way better looking. Number one, and I think I'm also younger, despite the salt and pepper beard.
He's actually Instagram chef.
Who?
That's funny.
Chef Vevelo.
Yeah.
Awesome. Chef, I think you should cook me some samosas for lowering my beauty standards by comparing me to Ted. I'm just messing with you. I'm just messing with you. Don't go tell Ted Josiah I took an ad him. I did not. I was just joking. Uh, what does Ted Josiah look like today? Okay, I haven't seen him in a long time in terms of images or whatever. Hanuman underscore Prana on TikTok says, I'm live now. I wanted to know if I can be able to sell my land in Komarok, Sector 1, with a one bedroom already built on it. It's next to the main road. Hanuman underscore Prana on TikTok. Thank you for tuning in and for being live. I'm sure you can be able to sell anywhere really. I mean, depends on your route to market. How are you going to engage the market? How will they get to know about your property and its features? What makes it worth considering? What's the asking price relative to everything else? Blah blah blah. Do you offer any special terms like seller financing or installment plans, that sort of thing? Now, if you're asking if we can help you sell, the answer is no. We are not agents, nor are we brokers. We only sell what we own ourselves. It's a brand promise we made right from day one, way back when. And so we would not be the right partners for you to find buyers for your property in Komarok, Hanuman. But we wish you all success. I'm sure you'll be able to sell it through the right channels. Quinton on TikTok says, can I pay for the land you sell in installments? If yes, how much time do you give? Quinton, I answered a similar question. I think it was the first question we answered about 30 minutes ago. If you want to make payments in a way that's different from how we have advertised or informed you upon your inquiry, just let us know what you're proposing. Think about it, let us know what makes sense for you. We're happy to consider. If it's something we can work with, because we do have commercial concerns to take care of while we accommodate payment plans, then we'll do it. If not, we will tell you. But that's something we deal with on a case by case basis. So reach out, let's have a chat, see if we can make it work. Thank you. Stanaman2 on TikTok says, how do you transfer a letter of administration into a title? Well, those are two completely separate and unrelated documents, Stanaman. Um, a letter of administration is typically issued by a court of law or based on a court decision appointing a specific person or institution or persons as having legal authority to make decisions about a property. Okay, that has nothing to do with the title deed document. So if you meant to ask something different, please clarify, um, and then perhaps I can answer your question. I see tons of questions on TikTok. Um, Gerald K. Gift says, "Do you do land search?" No, Gerald, we do not. We are not advocates. We would not do that for anyone. We only do that for ourselves. For that, you need to engage a licensed advocate to conduct a search for you. Second part of the question says, I am reluctant to use the lawyers recommended by the land seller. 100% get your own. Don't use the land seller's lawyer, because the land seller's lawyer is interested in protecting the land seller, not you. There's a conflict of interest there generally. So get your own lawyer to do it. And all the best. Michael Orenge says, I have a property that is not listed or owned by Goshen. Do you provide services to assist with the purchase? I am currently residing abroad and require assistance from a reputable company or organization. Thank you for your question, Michael Orenge. No, that's not a service we provide. Um, not yet, anyway. You need to engage the services of a licensed advocate, strictly speaking, who can do a deep dive for you in terms of doing your due diligence, um, handling, preparation of the sale agreement, handling the preparation of transfer forms, ensuring that the seller of the property you're considering buying has done things the right way so that you are not left exposed after you take ownership and that sort of thing. We're happy to recommend advocates if you like, but that's not a service that we provide. So let us know. We'll be happy to share contacts for the best advocates we've worked with. And I wish you all the best, Michael. Thank you for your question. Developer095 on TikTok says, what's the requirements for a down payment on an 80 by 100 piece of land around Nairobi? The idea is to invest in the land and pay it down over a year period. What's the requirements for a down payment? Well, developer 095 on TikTok, if I understand your question correctly, you're asking me what is the legally required threshold for down payment. Law Society of Kenya's conditions of sale stipulate that 10% is the minimum amount that is legally binding, because you're going to sign a sale agreement. 10% is the minimum that you should pay as a deposit or a down payment, regardless of the size of the land. Could be an 80, 50 by 100, 80 by 100. Uh, it could be 1,000 acres, 10,000 acres, doesn't matter. 10% is the LSK recommended minimum threshold. So do it right. Get yourself a licensed advocate, because I can tell from your question you have not talked to a lawyer yet, or if you have, they're not guiding you properly. So get yourself a licensed advocate of the High Court of Kenya, one who specializes in conveyancing. Make sure you like them, make sure they understand what you're looking for, engage them quickly, formally, and they will help you navigate this journey. Okay? And all the best to you. Developer 095 says this is considering your terms for the properties you already have and are selling. Considering my terms for the properties I already have and I'm selling. I'm not sure I understand you, developer. Can you guys understand what the question is? Part two?
So I think the first question is the one that he was asking the requirements for the payment. Maybe he thinks that we have land in Nairobi.
80 by 100.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think I've answered part one. And our terms are consistent with this. We actually require much more than 10% from our customers, developer 095, and that's for a number of reasons, uh, including sort of sifting through buyers who are not serious about engaging in a transaction. It's a serious process, it's a legal transaction. We incur very heavy costs by the time we are floating a property for sale. We like to make sure right from the onset that we're dealing with a serious individual. And so we typically require much more than the 10%, but 10% is a minimum requirement according to Law Society of Kenya's conditions of sale. Okay? User 613-099-089-4263 on YouTube or TikTok. That's TikTok. Whoever you are, thank you for tuning in and for watching. And you say, is it worth to sell a land after 1 year? That's a question only you can answer depending on how much appreciation the land has experienced over the year. And is the gain, the value gain, or the potential capital gain attractive enough for you? Only you can determine whether that is worth it. Is worth your time, investment, the risk you took. I hope it is. Habari ya Acacia. This is from Fuzzy Wazi on Facebook. What's up, Fuzzy Wazi? I've seen that name before. Uh-huh. Thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Acacia ni poa sana. It's amazing. We're actually going to be there next week. We might do some content depending on what we find happening on site. So stay tuned. And you also say, good to see this Goshen crew here. Thank you. It is good to be seen. Faziwazi, thank you. Okay, Gaddafi or Gaddaf. Who on earth is Gaddaf? Gaddaf, huh?
Let's move on.
Oh, so you know who Gaddaf is?
I think I know him from Instagram because of the profile picture. So he asks us a lot of questions, but the name is an initial to so I think.
Okay. I can tell from the way you're answering me, you don't really want to say. So I'll leave it be. Okay, Gaddaf on TikTok says, can someone build a bungalow in land, or rather on land, which is in industrial area like Thika Kianjao? It's a freehold. Well, Gaddaf, I would say to you, what is the zoning or the user for your land? Before you start building a bungalow, is it zoned for residential use or for industrial use? Considering from your comment that it's located in the industrial area. That's number one. So make sure you know what your user or zoning is, and what's the purpose for building the bungalow. If the users do not match, then you may need to regroup and rethink how you want to use the space. You say it's freehold, it doesn't matter whether freehold or leasehold. What counts most here is the zoning or user. In Kenya, we call zoning user. It's just the same thing, but different terminology. I know in the US, probably in the UK as well, Canada, they'll use the word zoning. In Kenya, we use the word user. So that's the thing that counts the most. Find out before you sink any money in the ground building anything. Thank you for your question, Gadaf. Abdul Fattah, hey, Abdul Fattah went quiet for a while. Good to see you. You're watching us from YouTube. And Abdul Fattah says, blessed evening to Mr. Solo at the Grand Acre Farm. With the fall of dollar value in Kenya, how do you see the instability affecting the real estate market in our beloved country? Well, Abdul Fattah, I think in my view, in my perspective, I haven't seen any. I would not call it an instability, really. I suppose it would depend on what side of the table or for the transaction you're sitting. If you're a buyer, particularly purchasing with foreign currency, if it's a dollar, it's been amazing. People have increased their purchasing because their purchasing power went up more than 40% in the space of only 12 months since last year, which is insane. Insane. I mean, the prospect that you could buy 40% more land property than you would a year before with the exact same amount of money is great for the buyers. Okay, that's number one. Now, if you're a seller who is borrowing or who borrowed in dollars over that same period of time and is servicing loans with the interest rates that we have in Kenya, it's brutal. So in that sense, I'm sure a lot of investment decisions that required borrowing have been put on pause, particularly for high value transactions. But we have not seen any slowdown per se because of the forex instability. If anything, it's been a huge advantage for outside investors looking to invest here or diasporans even in elsewhere trying to purchase property back home in Kenya. It's been great for them because their dollar goes a lot further along the way. So to that extent, it's been stable. That's been my observation. But we wait and see. I'm hoping that the central bank is able to stabilize the shilling against the dollar so that we don't have any more ups and downs. Some are projecting that it'll probably settle somewhere in the range of 140 shillings to the dollar for a while as the new base. We wait to see. In the meantime, investment activity continues. Abdul Fattah says, I might have missed this, but what are the key differences between buying a land/home from a company and from an individual? The key differences are if you're buying from an individual, you will need a spousal consent, whereas if you're buying from a company, the equivalent to a spousal consent is a board resolution. Those are the only key differences. Everything else is pretty much the same. Okay. Individuals have IDs, companies have registration certificates. Individuals have KRA PIN certificates, so do companies. The title deed is the same either way. The main difference here is that issue of the spousal consent for individuals versus a board resolution for companies. Thank you for that question, Abdul Fattah, and it's good to hear from you. Stanaman 2, again on TikTok, says, when one died interstate and the administrators have kids, okay, when one dies interstate and the administrators have kids, can the letter of admin initiate ownership? Yes, that's the whole point of a letter of administration. There's a clear stipulation on who has authority to decide what happens with the sharing of assets among successors and that sort of thing. Obviously, input has to be taken from the other successors. Otherwise, the administrator could be deemed to be abusing their authority, and that can also be challenged in court. But in theory, yes, a letter of admin can initiate transfer of assets from a deceased individual to their successors or whoever is supposed to be the recipient or beneficiary of these assets.
Somebody on Instagram wants to ask his question live.
He wants to hop on the call. Yeah, he's welcome to. We have 9 minutes left, so he has plenty of time to give us a call.
You'll have to request to join.
To join? Oh, Ephraim Kalubi. Hold on, Ephraim. Gladys is going to give you instructions on how to make the call. Christine on TikTok, in the meantime, says, thank you for this very informative session. Thank you, Christine, and thank you for tuning in. Do we sell land in Nakuru? Not in Nakuru City, but we do have two projects within Nakuru County. One on the lakefront at Lake Elementaita. I just spoke about it a short while ago. You can find it on our website, just as you can also find the other one in Naivasha along the highway called the Olkekun Mixed Use Development. Stunning value, amazing locations. As always, Grand Acres delivers on locations, which guarantees long-term value. So for now, that's it. If we ever find something in Nakuru City or town itself, I am sure you will hear about it because we're going to make a lot of noise about it.
We've invited him, but he's not joining.
All right. Ephraim, Gladys says he's inviting you, but you're not joining. Go live, okay. To be in your live view. Accept. Is it refusing?
Yeah, I don't know. It's refusing. Actually, interesting. We had another request. Ephraim isn't able to join.
All right, Ephraim, it's telling us that you are not able to join. I'm not sure why. Azima Properties also wants to. Okay, let's see if they're able to join. There might be a technical issue with. Can't be our Samsung Galaxy phone. If it was your iPhone, I'd have said it's your phone.
Yeah, no way.
Ephraim says he's trying a second time.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, he's there.
Hey, there you go. What's up, Ephraim? Can you hear me? See me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, this is an iPhone and this is not a Samsung.
Ah, that's why you're having problems, my brother. Get a Samsung.
Yes. So, anyways, I won't really waste too much of your time. It's only 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
But I basically have exactly 5 questions.
Okay.
I will try not to talk a lot, even though I have a lot to say.
Okay.
But I'll try to make it short. So bear with me if I overlap on my time. I just got back to my place. I'm from work right now and just jumped on IG and I saw you were live.
Okay.
I usually follow your content, some of the posts that you make, and we mostly every day, every single day you post a few things. And the questions that I'm gonna ask are not. I'm already gonna put a disclaimer. It's not necessarily all of them that are specifically oriented towards land and investment and specifically a business case, but it's mostly kind of a general perspective. So I'm 25, graduated a year ago. I'm currently working in a tech company, specifically in sales. And
Congrats.
every day post so many insightful things,
Yeah.
Just business-wise, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think that's actually the core elements that kind of brought me even to your page. I landed on one of the videos that you shared recently. I think you were talking about some aspects, some key factors about business etiquette or something like that, and I really appreciated that. So I'm in a space where I'm trying to build out my own small business. It's a marketing agency, and finding sources of inspiration and people who have already had so many years in business and kind of know the ropes of how things work. It's always great. So I always follow your page and your content. You have some snippets of videos every once in a while and some podcasts. So that's mostly that's a single part of your followership. I would say it is not necessarily all people who are necessarily into investing directly into land. Maybe in the future I don't have quite the money for that. But let me come straight to my questions. That's kind of connects to what I'm trying to learn from you, because it's an opportunity to get some insight from someone who has been in business for a while, and that's why I wanted to join the call.
Okay.
So I hope it's not really deviating. First, I would just like to know exactly, you have such a great and successful business today. What key skills and qualities do you believe have been crucial to the success and to reach the place where you've reached today as a business in general? I took the time to write notes so that I don't get lost.
Got you. Well, first of all, thanks for being a follower and for all the kind compliments you just shared. I think it's going to be the same things you hear people talk about: discipline, tenacity, stubbornness. That's a big one, because you're going to have obstacles along the way, and it's going to be impossible for you to be stubborn or have stamina to persevere if you don't absolutely love whatever it is you're doing. So I guess that brings us right back to the top, which is have a passion. Know that you are on the path that you were created to be on, that you absolutely love it. A mentor of mine said, one of the ways to know that you are pursuing your purpose is love. The passion, what we call passion, really is love. Yeah. You love it so much, you can forget to eat because you're doing it. And that drives everything else. It's a fuel that drives everything else, ultimately leads to the success, allows you to be disciplined. Obviously, you need to have a good character, otherwise you'll have problems building trust with suppliers, customers, and all your other stakeholders. So usual aspects, same things our mothers pinched our ears for when we were 4 years old, they count when you're 25 or older trying to build a business.
Exactly. Yeah. And in hindsight, what advice would you say give yourself when you were starting out, maybe when you look back, if there's one piece of advice with most emphasis on, what would that be?
Advice about?
Just basically in hindsight, when you look back and the set of challenges maybe that come across your way as you're building up the business.
Yes.
If there was something that you wish you knew sooner.
Yeah. Honestly speaking, and this is very subjective, this is personal to me, I wish I knew sooner how much spirituality impacts on business in this secular world. I would have paid a lot more attention to some spiritual disciplines like fasting and praying, and that sort of thing. I'm finding that now it's extremely important. To paraphrase a friend / mentor of mine, Julian Kula, many know him as a pastor, but he's one of the most amazing business mines in this country, successfully built multi-billion shilling businesses. And he's not that much older than I. He's about 2 years older than I. He's talked about new levels requiring battle with new devils. The higher you go, the higher the devils you have to deal with. And that could be analogous to corruption, vested interests blocking your progress because you threaten their market share, and this, that, and the other. That's the one thing I'd advise young people. Have your wits about yourself, have a strong foundation, have a secure and a solid spiritual base, and be disciplined about those practices, because they'll carry you long into the future. Even after you're gone, they'll carry the next generation. And there's many others, but that's the one that stands out most for me now.
Sure. And the last one, just without really taking on your time, since marketing is kind of like the industry in which I want to progress, I'm always very curious about that aspect of things and regarding the way you conduct marketing strategy as a business. Not many people who are actually in the field or in the niche and the industry in which you operate kind of approach it the same way. I feel like you add your own touch, the social media presence, the interactive type of content, and the lives that you're doing also to have kind of followership and have an interactive audience that you can get back to. I would just like to know maybe what are 2-3 core points that you think you are doing differently that are allowing you to get to the next level when it comes to marketing and branding yourself and your business.
Right. Well, I think the first one is just a commitment to excellence. I hate mediocrity. So does my team, actually. The team I have are in my team because they feel the same way. So a commitment to doing things right in the best way possible. That, I think that's self-evident. It's evident in our branding. It's evident in the way we do our events, our social media packaging, and that sort of thing. Yeah. The other is a genuine concern or care for the community that we serve. Right? Everything we do is to serve other human beings, those who are interested in buying land. It's why we do these lives. If there was no human interaction, there'd be no point. We'd be talking to ourselves, amongst ourselves, off camera, having dinner somewhere. But that's not the point. The point is to serve those we've been called to serve. And so interactive content is critical to that. And then, of course, it gives us insights as to what problems we need to be solving in the first place, because we're solving them for our customers and not ourselves. I'd say those are the three main ones amongst the many dozens that there are probably.
Indeed. Since I don't have the millions to buy land from you today, at my age, what would you have started? What would you have maybe chose to get started in your journey of creating wealth? Maybe alternative ways to maybe invest in the same industry, but in how can I say that? With smaller amounts, what would be alternative or possibilities? I guess.
Yeah.
Someone in my age, not everyone my age, has the finances to get involved in some. There are levels.
Sure.
The type of investment, ways that you want to get started and to multiply your wealth. But any sort of ideas or insights on interesting niches or places where individuals that are maybe getting started or trying to build foundations, as you mentioned, getting started, interesting places where they could place their money and try to grow it in a sustainable manner. What would be such niche suggestions that you would be able to give?
Well, I'd only make two, just in the interest of time. Number one, know your goal. Define your goal clearly. Number two is surround yourself with other like-minded young or older people. Just because you don't have the millions to buy now doesn't mean you can't buy. It may mean that you can buy now together with others. So pooling resources is the fastest shortcut, because the sooner you start, the better. You'd rather have a 5% of a pie by pooling with others than waiting until you have enough to do it on your own, because while you're waiting, values are changing, and it becomes a rat race. So those are the two immediate ones. Besides that, save aggressively, put your money in interest earning accounts, find other like-minded individuals, pool your resources, bust a move now, because today is the cheapest that land will ever be.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking the time. The last question is, I have a podcast where I basically share content and try to talk with people and individuals where we exchange about entrepreneurship, business, and everything in between.
Yeah.
The goal is really to inspire young generations of African entrepreneurs, and I would definitely love to have you on. Do you think that's something we can make happen and to have a small session with you?
Yes. Well, this is your third last question. Yeah, happy.
Learn from you.
Yeah.
And I've been watching you, and I think there's a lot of knowledge I can get and share with the small audience I'm building as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have Gladys reach out to you. You guys can DM, and we'll make arrangements on how to link up.
I will. And I'm sorry for putting you on the spot like that, but I had to take my
It's
time.
all right, man. I'm always ready. Twende kazi.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
I'll send a message right after this, and thank you again for taking the time to answer my questions, and I'm looking forward to it.
Most welcome. Thank you for your questions and for being a fan. We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yes.
Okay. Shall we give someone else one last question? Is there a pressing one on land specifically? That was awesome. Thanks, Ephraim, for being brave enough to go live. We tried live sessions and didn't work out because no one wanted to be seen on camera. So big up to you. Abdul Fattah says, apart from being single, how is one eligible to continue with the process of buying an asset without the spousal consent? Okay, great. Abdul Fattah, I mean, if you're single, you're single. If you don't have a spouse, there is no need for spousal consent. And also, just to be clear, if you're buying from a single person, there is no need for a spousal consent. They will simply swear an affidavit stating that they are unmarried or are single, which negates the requirement for a spousal consent. Spousal consent are only required from the seller. Okay, let me repeat that. Spousal consents are only required from the seller. You as a buyer are not required to have a spousal consent when you're buying, only when you're selling. So if the person is single, they simply swear an affidavit to that effect and you're covered. Okay? Thank you for that question. We've gone a lot over our 9 p.m. threshold. I know I said in the beginning that time is money and money buys land. So we'll have to say adios. Thank you so much for making time to tune in. If we missed your question, please forgive. If it's a pressing one, reach out, DM us. We're happy to engage with you offline or directly, probably sometime tomorrow or the day after. Let us know. Happy to make time for that. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I wish you all grand acres. Until next time, have a blessed night.